Welcome to Research 101, the nuts and bolts of getting started. Before we get started, make sure that you have something to take notes on. We will cover a lot of information today, and it'll be good to have for a future reference. Today, as we mentioned, we'll cover lots of information. We'll start first with how to locate research opportunities at the University of Minnesota, and second, we'll talk about how to make contact with faculty. So one of the defining advantages of the University of Minnesota as an institution for undergraduates is the abundance of world-class research programs. Opportunities to engage with unique, hands-on research opportunities are available here that aren't available elsewhere. So if you're interested in getting involved in research, you are at a great place. When we think of research, you probably imagine a person in a white coat working at a bench with chemicals or biological material. But it's important to keep in mind that research occurs whenever you are asking questions, developing and testing hypotheses, and discovering new knowledge. This can occur in a wet lab, in the field, or on a computer if you're doing more computational or mathematical research, so-called dry lab. So keep in mind as we continue our presentation that research isn't limited to the more stereotypical bench work that you might initially imagine. So some of the ways to get involved include student employment, volunteering, directed research, Europe, and summer REUs. And we'll go into details more about these. Student employment is a common way for students to gain some initial exposure, training, and experience in a research lab, all while getting paid. A lot of students need to work and find it challenging to keep up with schoolwork, research experience, and a job. This kills two birds with one stone so that you are getting paid to work in a lab. These positions tend to be task-oriented and don't usually involve independent research. Instead, you'll be doing repetitive tasks such as washing dishes, making media, collecting samples in the field, or data entry. However, working hourly in a lab can be a great way to get initial exposure, training, and experience. Even starting off as a dishwasher lets you see how the lab works, introduces you to the work being done in the lab, gets you acquainted with people in the lab who are also getting to know you, and gives you valuable insight into what makes a lab work well. Clean dishes is definitely one of them. For possible employment opportunities, check out the UMN HR webpage. Volunteering is a great option if you want to learn a little bit more about what a research lab is like. Students tend to be interested in volunteering if they don't have any experience outside the classroom. But these are a few things to keep in mind about volunteering. It must have an educational component that you could be able to describe at the end of your experience. This means you shouldn't volunteer to do something that someone would normally get paid to do, i.e. task-oriented work, such as washing dishes, making media, etc. As a volunteer, you would gain experience without asking for the lab or mentor to invest in financial resources. Of course, since they are investing their most precious resource, their time, you must enter a volunteer experience with the same commitment you would any other. Given that we have a volunteer contract available online that you should fill out if you start volunteering in a lab. This allows you to discuss and determine with your faculty mentor what your objectives for being involved in the lab are. Many students will begin their research experience in this way, but this varies from student to student and faculty to faculty. Directed research is essentially a research project for course credit. Many students take the volunteering/employment route into a lab and then do a directed research project during their second semester in the lab or after they have established a project. Some quick facts about directed research. Directed research can be writing intensive or not. You may receive anywhere from 1 to 6 credits. However, each major counts director research differently, so make sure to speak with your academic advisor or your director of undergraduate studies, also referred to as a DUG, D-U-G, about specific requirements. Also, I want to note that it is possible to do a director research that is writing intensive. Generally, this is done after you've been involved in the lab for multiple semesters and have some results that you are ready to write up. If you have an interest in director research that is writing intensive, please speak with your faculty mentor. The most important thing about doing a director research project is filling out the director research contract, and lots of students and faculty have trouble finding this online. To access the form, which is called Workflow Gen, please go to wfgen.umn.edu. That's wfgen.umn.edu to find the director research contract. Filling out this contract helps you to initiate the approval process. UROP is the Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, which runs through the Office of Undergraduate Research. With this program, you're essentially getting a scholarship to participate in research and present your work, usually but not always at the Undergraduate Research Symposium, which happens in the spring semester. It is usually expected that you have previous experience prior to submitting an application, as the application involves a well-defined research proposal developed by working closely with your faculty mentor. I want to emphasize that you do not have to come up with your project on your own. This is a collaborative process with you and your faculty advisor. Projects are funded during spring, summer, and fall semesters, with applications for spring due in October and applications for summer and fall due in February. Finally, summer research experiences for undergraduate students, or REUs, are a way to get involved in an intensive summer-long project. Many of these programs will include a small stipend and support for lodging and food, as well as additional skills training outside of the lab. For instance, some will include workshops on applying for graduate school or applying for jobs or medical schools. Others may include workshops on writing or presenting on scientific research. Many also have an associated symposium at which you would present at the conclusion of that program. Most of these programs are very focused on a particular topic or field, and so specific training opportunities, as well as program requirements and application deadlines, are highly variable. Note also that while there are many summer REUs available here at the U of M, many programs are not restricted by location, so you may look nationally for programs of interest. Now that we've reviewed some of the many ways to get involved with research at the University of Minnesota, we will review how to get involved in an undergraduate research experience of your own. There are 4 simple steps. 1, identify your interests. 2, identify faculty whose research falls in line with your interest. 3, make contact with faculty. And lastly, enjoy and make the most out of your research experience. The first step to getting involved in research is identifying your interests and goals. You're obviously here because you're interested in some aspect of the biological sciences and are interested in pursuing a research opportunity. Take a moment to think about these 2 reflective questions. What specific topics in the biological sciences interest you the most? And what are you hoping to get out of the research experience? This exercise is important because you will need to articulate the answers to these questions in your contact with faculty. So this is a good chance to write things down and become familiar with your own interests. Understanding your interests may be difficult to do, especially if you haven't taken very many classes at the U. Maybe you do have a good idea, and maybe you don't. But hopefully this exercise has helped you start thinking more about what you're looking for out of your experience. As you continue moving forward, there are some questions to keep in mind. Even if you know exactly what experience you're looking for, it's good to be flexible and open to opportunities that might come up. You might be surprised about what you discover you're passionate about. So some of the questions you might consider are, what topics are you most excited about? What would you like to work on? Or where would you like to work rather? Such as the wet lab, in the field, or on a computer. How much time can you commit? And how does the experience relate to your long-term goals? The next step is identifying faculty. This is a picture of Dr. Valerie Forbes and Nika Gallick in a growth chamber. Once you have a sense of the type of research you are looking for, the next step is to find a faculty member whose research is related to your interests and that you are interested in working with. Starting with CBS faculty is a great place to begin. You don't need to restrict your options to these faculty. You can work with other faculty in other departments, such as the medical school, and even outside the university. To explore the research of CBS faculty, go to the CBS homepage and click on Faculty and Research, or go to this website, https://cbs.umn.edu/faculty-research. On the left-hand side over here, you can choose which department you might be interested in. And they will list the faculty in that department. Once you select a faculty member, you will find a brief description of what they study. You can click through to learn more. Here we selected Dr. B. If we scroll to the bottom of Dr. B's profile, you'll find a link to his lab page. This is a great way to learn more information about the projects the faculty member is working on. And sometimes there will be more information on how to make contact with a faculty member. Another great way to get more information about a particular faculty member and to find related faculty is through the experts website. That's experts at Minnesota or experts.umn.edu. Experts creates profiles for faculty based upon their publications, affiliations, grants, and collaborations. Pulls data from public databases and is a powerful tool for searching faculty. So here we typed in Mark B, and this is what it gives us. So we see a name, a picture, and a department. The graph on the right shows publications in the gray, grants and project start dates in black, and then we see a bunch of different types, including a fingerprint, which shows keywords and how often those words appear in their publications and projects. Projects, which show grants or projects that the faculty is or has been working or involved with. And research output, which lists publications. And similar profiles, which show faculty with similar interests. Once you have a list of faculty, experts is a great way or a great resource to find out more information about the lab and the current work being conducted. So once you come up with a list of faculty you're interested in, the next step is to reach out and make contact. Some ways to connect with faculty are to speak with them after class, if you're taking a course with them, or approach a speaker at a seminar on campus. Be sure to do your research on their lab beforehand, though. You can also stop by their office hours or just drop by their office to talk about their research and if they have any openings for undergraduate students. This can be very intimidating first step, but most of all, it won't be as scary as you might imagine. Just remember that everyone you'll be talking to was also in your position when they first started. And if you express a genuine interest in their research, most will be excited to talk about it. Most often, you'll be reaching out to faculty via email. So let's take some time to talk about what goes into a good faculty email. And this is important because first impressions matter, and in many cases, this will be your first interaction with this faculty. So some things to consider include tone, the greeting, and the body. And the body would be what information you would include, or would it include. Some specifics. When writing these emails, always be courteous and respectful. Address the faculty member as doctor or professor. You want to be both courteous but enthusiastic. Faculty will respond well if you're able to express genuine interest in their lab and their research. Along those lines, you want your email targeted to a specific faculty. They will be able to tell if you send the same email to 20 faculty, and most likely may eliminate the email without a response. State how your interests align with the lab, the type of research opportunity you are seeking, such as directed research, volunteer, or paid, and your availability, how many hours you can work, how many semesters, etc. While it is not required, it is acceptable to attach a resume and/or unofficial transcript. Something important to note, some faculty will list on their page what they would like for you to include in your email if you contact them for research opportunities. This could be things like a cover letter, resume, or transcripts. By taking the time to look at their webpage and follow their instructions, you're demonstrating your commitment to their lab, attention to detail, and ability to follow instructions, and the faculty will notice. And finally, faculty are busy people, and it's easy for emails to get lost in their inbox. If you don't receive response after a week, plan to send a follow-up email. And finally, don't be discouraged. While you might get lucky and find an opportunity on your first try, most likely you will need to reach out to 10 to 15 faculty members before you find a position that is right for you. But the University of Minnesota is a big place and there are tons of opportunities. So you'll just need to keep trying. And feel free to schedule an appointment with your Director of Undergraduate Studies to learn more about opportunities within your interests. Success in research is not always easy. Sometimes you can work hard and nothing turns out the way you want. Other times you may make a mistake and it turns out to be a gold mine. But if you go into the research experience with an open mind and a willingness to learn, you'll do great. A couple things to keep in mind is that you should treat this position just like a professional job. Be reliable, stay organized, and keep a record of your activities. If you make a mistake, which you will, don't try to cover it up. Instead, use it as a learning experience. Also, ask a lot of questions. Your advisors and mentors will appreciate it. It's the best way to learn. And finally, have fun. This is a picture of Einstein on his 72nd birthday, and as you can see, he took himself lightly. So I just want to point out a few different resources that you may access after today's presentation. On the website listed on this page, you will find the CBS Research Roadmap, which is a short version of today's presentation in a step-by-step format. If you would like to discuss your research interests, you may reach out to your Director of Undergraduate Studies to discuss your interest in other opportunities. And you can see on this webpage here, there's a link to the listing of directors of undergraduate studies. And next, I would like to introduce you to our CBS career team. The CBS career team offers career planning, pre-health, and graduate school coaching appointments. You may make an appointment to discuss how you may explore your interests and how they connect to different career paths. You can also meet with a CBS career team member for assistance with the following: reviewing application components for summer REUs, resume, CV, personal statement, and research statement reviews, as well as practice interviews, and learning more about how to communicate your research experience and skills. Thank you for participating in today's presentation, and have a great day.